Hello everybody, next tutorial, and again hopefully this one goes pretty quick too. This is one of the different things that Flash can do, and that is it can not only paint with a paintbrush tool like you have in Microsoft Word since 1990, but it allows you to control where that painting happens. And what we are going to do, if I hide my stuff here, is we're going to paint this shadow piece that comes right below our side fin, and then also appears down here on our bottom fins that comes off the belly of our ship. So we're going to do those shadows with the paintbrush tool. Now I do realize there is one little shadow right here, but we're not going to mess with that guy. So if I triple check, all of my layers should be locked, which they are, and I also have everything hidden. What I'd like for you to bring back is your side fin. So I'm going to select my side fin layer. I make it visible, and I'm also going to unlock it. Now I move my tools up here just for a second because I need to have them a little more expanded since my screen isn't as big as yours, but I will move it back to normal. So I'm going to zoom in here, and I want to draw or paint this shadow right below here. So let's get our paintbrush tool, and it looks like a mop or a paintbrush, just like it did in Photoshop. And we need our painting color to be this kind of middle gray right here. So it's not white, but it's not dark. This one right here, the 9999999. That was not no in German. So with your paint bucket selected, or excuse me, your paintbrush tool selected in this gray color, the next thing we have to adjust is how we're painting. If we look over here at the end of our toolbar, and yours will be vertical, mine is just like this so we can see, you will see 1, 2, 3 things we can change. And we're going to work backwards on this. First one is your brush shape. So these are all the different brush tips that you could use. If you're painting pixels, you'd probably want to use this square one. These slanted ones, these oval ones are good for writing cursive or calligraphy. But just for the sake of just painting to paint, you're probably just going to use the plain old circle. The next one is brush size, and this is all the brush sizes you have. I'm going to get the biggest one. You can come out here and see how big your brush will be. You can also use your brackets next to your P key, like we did in Photoshop, to increase or decrease your brush size. And last but not least, our brush mode. And this was the important part for today. This is what allows us to control where we paint and how we paint. We are going to paint behind. So we want this shadow to appear behind our side fin. So with the paintbrush selected, got that light gray color. My paint mode is set to behind. My brush size is big, and it's also a circle. I'm going to come out here to my side fin, and I'm just going to start painting. Now I don't have a mouse, so my painting's not going to be the most beautiful in the world. But when you let go, it should immediately only paint behind this shape. So if I happen to scribble all over this is fine because it puts it behind my shape. So just come in here and paint the shadow color. So I can scribble all over side fin, it does not matter. All I am worrying about is where my shadow is. And when I let go, it snaps back to how it should look because I have paint behind set up. Paint behind. Make sure that your fin isn't selected It doesn't have to be selected for this tool, you just paint. Save after you've got that. And then after you have that done, we're going to move on to our bottom fins. So inside fin's done, I'm going to lock it. I'm going to hide it. I'm going to move on to my bottom fins layer. Unlock and unhide them. Now we also need one other shape for this one to work. And we need our body shape. We need to know where in the world that shadow needs to go. So find your body layer. We're not going to unlock it, we're just going to make it visible. Now one thing that is really handy, you've probably noticed all these little teeny tiny colored boxes in your layers. This means outline mode. So if I click this little orange box, yours might be pink or purple or a different color. Color doesn't matter. It then switches it to outline mode. And if I zoom in here, you'll see that this orange line, because the box is orange up here, represents the edge of my body shape. So now I know where this shape exists without the whole thing being there, taking up a bunch of space and distracting me. So this is going to help me judge where my shadow needs to be. We're going to do a different type of painting on this one. And we need to select all three of our bottom fins. Now the easiest way to select all three of our bottom fins is to just click once on our layer name. You'll notice as I did that, each layer now has that dotted pattern over it saying that it's selected. If not, I have to do this big click and drag, and that works. But oops, it looks like I might have missed a little bit of it. If I just click on the layer once, it instantly will select everything in there, no matter how little or big of a drawing it is. So this is just the fastest and most guaranteed way of selecting all of it. So with it all selected, go back to my tools, my paintbrush, and ignore your properties panel. Your properties panel is wanting to think about what's selected. So when we set up our paintbrush, we're going to have to look at this little fill right here. Again, your toolbar is vertical, yours will be down here at the bottom, but you're looking for that paint bucket. We're still going the same gray. It shouldn't have changed. Actually, for this one, we have to make sure we're set up first. So paintbrush, we're going to get our gray color, and this time we're going to paint selection. Paint selection. We're leaving the size and the shape the same. So again, paintbrush, same color, same sizes, but we're doing paint selection. Then come back, grab that entire bottom fin layer, and come back with that paintbrush that you've already set up, and we're going to paint a little shadow here. Now it's okay if I get too far out, because this time it's only going to stick inside that selection. Makes it pretty handy. Kind of broke me off right there. That's okay. I can come back and fix that. It doesn't matter where I go up here. And there is my shadow. If I make everything visible and turn that off of outline, I can now see my shadow the way it should appear. If you have any of these little weird holes, if yours happened to do that to you, snap my toolbar back out here. Get your ink bottle tool. You hopefully can set it back up to 5 in the color you're using, and then just fill in those little gaps. So it's all back to normal. and that is what your shadow should look like. So the first shadow underneath side fin, we did a paint behind. Then for the bottom fins, we set up our paintbrush tool, and we came back and selected all of our bottom fins, and with those dotted patterns selecting it, we painted over the top of it, and that selection made sure that when we painted, it only stuck to that fin and not the outside or any other portion of our drawing. Be sure and save, guys. Also make sure all your layers are locked. We'll move on to the next video.